Today's event is the first formal in-person kickoff since the DPLA has become live.
I think what today is all about is giving us a chance to reconnect with the DPLA community.
It's a very exciting moment in the history of this startup, and it's got lots of positive energy and lots of things we still have to accomplish.
We had thousands of people during the planning phase that were so important to creating what DPLA is today, and this gives us a chance to get back in touch with them.
I think DPLA is important for American democracy. In very simple terms, the creation of a national digital library system created by the private sector and public sector coming together will strengthen local communities and it will strengthen the way in which we participate in our democracy.
Well, I think the key to DPLA's success isn't the technology, it's the social aspect to it. It's really a collaborative project, and we've been so lucky to have so many partners. Over, I think we are at 18 hubs, which are big aggregators of content, and over 1,000 different institutions that have been a part of this, contributing materials together, and so many other people who've contributed ideas, time, energy to the effort.
The title of the session was Using a DPL for Advanced Research, and we had, I thought, a really productive discussion about focusing a lot on how you could link the data and use the data, connect the data to, and the DPL to other available projects. I thought it was very productive and interesting.
I'm doing a think tank with two other co-leaders on the future of libraries, and it's a think tank, so it's very participatory.
The variety and diversity of the stuff that's in the DPLA is amazing. You can use it to expand the scope of the class and the research that I'm doing. I'm used to using research libraries that have a very specific focus, and the DPLA has a much more diverse body of materials.
What we've asked the groups, we've divided them into about 6 small groups to discuss the different issues. We gave them scenarios of possibilities for libraries in the future, and they've been charged to discuss the top issues and to come away with both a summary of their discussions as well as two items for a list. One, to be able to say what can be implemented immediately and what is a more futuristic implementation of a technology.
I guess my specific session, the only thing I'd have to say is what was really great for me is I'm not naturally a digital humanities person. This is where I'm coming from from a more traditional research perspective, and I thought it was a very welcoming and open discussion that allowed me entry in a way that I haven't seen in a lot of academic conferences, so I was really impressed.
It's just been an incredible day. We had 700 people sign up to come, and you can just feel the energy. When I got up on stage this morning, first thing, there was just a lot of smiles in the crowd, a lot of people who know each other, old friends and some new friends who have worked on the project, so I think it's wonderful to get together and have a chance to do this in person.
Well, I hope that people from many different walks of life, whether representing a particular community group from a particular racial background, or someone who is representing funders, or people who are representing large institutions, I hope that they will all see a place for themselves within the DPLA. This is a community-driven organization, and one where we want lots of participation from smart and devoted people who want to volunteer their time and their treasure, in the case of philanthropists, to make something that's truly in the public interest.
If someone hasn't had a chance to say hi, happy to do so. Pick up stuff on your way out, and thanks again.
It's a place that's designed to be multi-use and multi-purpose. So right now you see it as kind of a cafe setup, coffee shop and food and drinks and stuff. If you were here 20 minutes earlier, actually probably when you arrived, you might have seen it set up for a workshop this morning. inside here, all these same columns exist. They hold up the second and third floor, so we've added idea paint to them. Students really make them their own. We, at the outset, wrote a bunch of stuff on them to try to inspire folks, and now have to go through and erase fairly regularly so that there's room for growth. That QR code actually works and is awesome if anyone has a QR reader. Came in one morning and Devin, who's a student, was drawing that out with a ruler, and if you scan it, it says you have the power to change the world. There's tons and tons of AV in the space. I won't go through it all, but lots of screens. There's in-room HD cameras that do one-touch recording. These microphones do voice lift, so you can stand on that wall and talk and be heard just as clearly against the windows. Little tiny details that make quite a bit of difference. The chalkboard that you see up here on this screen, when we first opened the space, we had just the chalkboards in the center. In fact, we said we need more chalkboards. We said this is 2013. Any questions about this space? How we use it? What's the sign for? Yeah.
These walls, idea paint?
They're not. And
take note.
Early on, a lot of people said every surface is writable, and that is in fact true, but it's not erasable. So this room is not, but there are all these whiteboards stacked in the corners.
The folks in the back of the room, that's really grown or become more stable, and you can see where over time that really, they play a larger and larger role in the kind of structured serendipity and all the things that happen. I'm just curious, is that the trajectory you're seeing?
As I said at the beginning, we're open ears and open eyes. I mean, we say all the time, and we still say it today, that we're putting the plane together as we're on the runway. And so in some of these cases, if a student has a great idea for something, we adopt it and try to go forward.
When I think of innovation spaces, the term that more comes to mind for me is creation spaces, which is both physical and digital. And the way I think about it is in terms of creation spaces as defined by Howard Pole and John Hagel and Center for the Edge. And a big thing for them is learning faster, learning from each other. So the successes and failures luncheons was really interesting to me.
We had the great fortune of having MIT's Media Lab fellows come in to speak with our students about life strategies, and we called it Media Lab Strategy Day at Automotive High School.
It's important for an institution like MIT's Media Lab to reach out to communities all around the country, particularly in underserved communities, because it gives the students an opportunity to interact with great people, with great technology, with the kind of ideas that can make a substantial difference in their lives.
Any partnerships between high schools and post-secondary schools are very important because it helps students build a network, and it helps also students recognize that there's something outside of high school.
Baratunde Thurston spoke to the auditorium about his life and about how he uses comedy as a political activist to make a difference.
The very first book I remember having as a kid was this. It's called This Is Apartheid. That's some heavy reading for an 8-year-old.
Ryan Chin spoke to the kids about the future of cities, how electric cars will impact the way we drive and the way we live.
This is a scooter that we designed. It uses in-wheel electric motors, right? It's foldable. And I'm going to show you a video of both. Can you put it like in a bag? You can put it into a big bag, a pretty big bag.
Juliana Rotich spoke about her work in Kenya, bringing technology and expertise to a place in the world that really needs it.
Ushahidi is the Swahili word for witness or testimony.
And that is the name of the platform that we created. And it enables anybody to send a message via text message, via Twitter, via Facebook.
Shaka Senghor spoke about his time in prison and the impact of violence in his early life, about how he was able to change his life using writing, and how he continues to change the life of others speaking all around the country and the world.
At the end of the day, you gotta perform. You gotta step up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? You run around people, man, that's weak thinking. That's one of the weakest things we do.
Then I had another student came to me and said, Mrs. Stanzik, that man was very interesting, and he was referring to Shaka. They were quite taken with Shaka. And Bartender did a great job of waking them up this morning, so we're very happy about that. So I believe that it was very, very well received.
The event was tremendous. The students walked out clearly moved, clearly thoughtful, and clearly hopeful for their futures and about what they can do to help change the world.
I have to, on behalf of my students, we owe Mr. Ashley a debt of gratitude because he made this possible for us.